I don't know if I'm in shot here, but anywho, if I'm not, I'm not. If I am, hello. Hello everyone, so sorry about the really awkward angle for right now, we're going to move it, but today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm running out of room on my bookshelves, so we are going to reorganize my bookshelves. This is my current bookshelf that I usually, this is everything that I've read apart from a couple, but what I'm planning on doing is I have another bookshelf or another set of shelving that I don't really have use for anymore because I've taken it out of my kitchen. So I think I'm going to use that as like my special editions shelf, or like books that I want to show off that's going to be more visible in videos and stuff. So without further ado, grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's get into the video. So what I'm going to start off by doing is taking everything off my shelves. This is my TBR cart. I don't know if you guys can actually see that from this particular angle, but I have my TBR cart here. Nothing really is going to change on that. I'm just going to get it out of the way because I'm going to move my bookshelf over to put the special edition bookshelf here. It should definitely fit, and I just think it would look really nice for like photos and videos and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just going to get everything off the shelves, get all the shelves into place, and then I'll come back when we start stacking everything on. Now I have no idea if I'm in focus or not, but this is how we've got them set out. Now I do have like dehumidifiers in here. I'm due to get some new ones, but I'll probably go and buy them later this afternoon and just add them in. But this is just a makeup towel. It's a towel that I use for like whenever I'm doing my hair. I just put this on the bench, like on my desk, so I don't burn my desk and wipe makeup brushes and stuff off, but it needs a good wash. So I'm just going to use this to dust my shelves because I haven't dusted in ages. So I'm just going to go through and dust all my shelves, and then we'll lower down and figure out what we're doing with the piles on the floor. So this is the current state of all of the books. Essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to now go through this pile or piles of books and figure out what I want to display on those shelves and what's going to go back in here, pick out all my special editions. So I'm just going to put this in a bit of a time lapse for you. I'm so sorry for the awkward angle that this is about to be, but I just wanted to quickly walk you through what's going on down here. So we have, this is a pile of fantasy. I just didn't want to move it because it's in a particular order and I know which order it's in. I think I might need to redo that. I forget what it's called though. Oh, the Morganville Vampires. That's book 15. Okay, easy. This is all my special edition books that I have that I know I want to like display on this shelf here, and I'm thinking I'm going to put some of my favorites. But anyway, so these ones are special editions. That's fantasy. That is like criminal fiction. We have dark romance there. I know a lot of people say that the Twisted series isn't dark romance, but it's definitely got some dark scenes in it. And then again, we have fantasy. We have general fic, paranormal romance, and just some like, these two are miscellaneous because we've got magical realism, and then that's just like a general romance, self-help, small town romance, sports romance, sci-fi, dystopian, fantasy again, and this one is also fantasy as well. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do to start is I'm gonna start with my special editions shelves, just because I want to, that way I can see like my favorites and stuff if I can add favorites to that. So I'm gonna start with that shelf first and then go from there and see what I want to do from there. So I'm gonna have a little bit of a play around with that, and then I'll come back and show you what it's looking like and go from there, because I would really love to also put like some of the Dark Olympus series. I'd love to put Akatar on there. Yeah, like I said, there's just a few of my favorites that I would love to also put on this shelf. So I'm gonna have a quick play around with this shelving and then I'll come back. Also, if you see my socks, no you didn't. It's freezing here and my feet have not been warm for like 2 weeks. So anyway, I'm gonna play around with this shelf and then I'll come back to you once that one's done. Again, I'm really sorry for the awkward angle and like the shaky camera and stuff. I'm holding it. So this is what I've got currently. We've got This is my Crowns of Nyaxia special editions. I actually haven't read Songbird of the Heart of Stone yet, but it's on my TBR, and I bought the special edition because I didn't want to miss it. And then we come down to this shelf, limited editions of Fourth Wing, not Fourth Wing, Iron Flame and Onyx Storm. I really want to get Fourth Wing, but they're so expensive, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to. And then special editions of them as well, which were the smaller ones that came to Kmart. And then you're not going to be able to see these too well, but I've got Powerless, Powerful, Reckless. I do have Fearless on the way. I'm just waiting for it. And then I also have, this was like the first like special limited edition that came out. I have finished it, clearly, but I haven't annotated the back because it was so gut-wrenching. I struggled to read it. And then down here is just some favorites apart from this, which is like a sprayed edge special edition. But we have like Haunting and Hunting Adeline, A Feather So Black, Neon Gods, and I've just stopped there for the minute because I do have some other books that I would love to add to this shelf, but I think I'm going to start on these and then see, because I'm obviously going to get more special editions as well. But so far I'm absolutely loving how this is looking, but yeah, I'm going to get started on doing this shelf. Oh, I was going to add ACOTAR in there, wasn't I? So I really do like that series. We will see, because I was thinking about adding my Never After series in there as well, because it's one of my favorite series, but I don't want to overload it with favorites. So we shall see about that. What I'm going to do first is start on these shelves and then I'll come back to this one. I'm sorry guys, I was getting a little carried away, but I've done majority of my fantasy. I have this one little stack here left of my fantasy to put away, but it's kind of fantasy. Oh, I also have this one too, but let's not talk about it. This is all unread, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Anywho, so just because I knew it would fit here, I put my Cassandra Clare collection there and my Vampire Academy books. They're all in a stack, of which of these are like, I'm not going to pull it out. This is jam-packed. I haven't read from City of Lost Souls on for the Cassandra Clare, and I also haven't read this yet, but I want to leave them here anyway. Same with like the Fallen series. I've only read Fallen once and I haven't read the rest, so but I still want to leave them there anyway. So we have all fantasy, and then we come down into fantasy as well, and these are more my favorites, and I put them there because they will be in shots for videos more than the top shelf will, which is why I've kind of made like this shelf, and this shelf is going to be my favorite. So we have my standard paperback editions of Fourth Wing, and then my standard hardback editions of Fourth Wing. We have Court of the Vampire Queen, and then we also have Twilight behind here, the entire Twilight series. Then I also have my standard paperback editions of the Powerless trilogy, and then this is a beautiful series that I've started this year. It was a very random find, but I absolutely love it. The third book is out. I need to go get it and read it because I really am curious to see what happens. And then I have my standard paperbacks of the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I'm not sure what I'm going to put there. I think I'm going to make that like paranormal romance and maybe dystopian and sci-fi, so it's like, sort of fits in with this. And then I think I'm going to do dark romance, maybe some small town sports romance over there, and then down the bottom will be like kind of books that like I don't really care about as much, sort of like this pile and that sort of stuff. So I will come back once I get this shelf done. So my dark romance shelf hasn't changed too much, just because of like I didn't put a lot of that stuff on the favorites shelf, but we still have like my Never After series, the Maid series. I have my Twisted series there because it wasn't actually my favorite. So this is one of those stackers that I was talking about where you can just kind of feed them in. They're acrylic or plastic, I mean, same thing. Like makeup palette organizers that you get from Kmart, and they work really, really well for this. So Twisted Love was my favorite, hence why I've just organized it like that. It kind of doesn't fit in this shelf because they're all so dark, but to me, it's a dark romance. Even though it might not fit cover-wise, it's still a dark romance to me, so I'm going to leave it there like that. And then we have Praise, which I'm going to have to reorganize all this because I'm going to be reading the second book of that soon. I think I bought it recently. And then Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. I don't know if I'm going to keep that yet. I was not the biggest fan of this book, but I want to read the rest of the series and just see what I think of her writing and the series. And then we have the Beautiful Disaster series by Jamie Maguire there as well. So now I'm probably going to have like... This will get filled with the books, with the other fantasy books. I'm probably going to have at least one thing there left and maybe there. So we will see. I'm going to keep going and fill up this spot, and these two spots, and then I'll come back once I've done that. Okay, so I'm finished organizing my shelves. What I'm going to do is put all my decorations on the shelf, and then I will bring you in for a close-up and give you like a quick overview or bookshelf tour. If you want a more in-depth one, I can do that for you. I'd be more than happy to do that, but this is probably going to be enough, to be honest. But I'm just going to get all my decorations for the shelves and put all them on, and then I'll come in and I'll bring you really close and I'll talk you through each shelf. Okay, we're going to start with my like already read bookshelf. So even though there is quite a few on here that I actually haven't read yet, I have either started the series or they were secondhand books from my uncle, and I don't want to hide them. I want them to be on display because my uncle passed away. So starting with Cassandra Clare, so we have the Mortal Instruments series, so books 1 through 6. Then we have the Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, and then the Dark Artifacts series, which is books 1 to 3. I know that she has a lot more in this world, but I haven't read past, I think I've only read to City of Fallen Angels. I think I'm partway through City of Glass at the moment. I started rereading them a couple years ago. But yeah, I think I'm up to City of Glass as a reread, so I do definitely want to start like doing that again. So that's all my Cassandra Clare that I have currently. I then have Vampire Academy and a fake little plant here in the front. Move you over here so you can see. And then I'm not sure what this series by Lauren Kate is actually called, but it's the Fallen series. I've always just called it the Fallen series. So again, this is another one of those series that I read Fallen when I was quite young and just like never continued, but I got the rest of the series from my uncle that passed away, so I refused to get rid of it and not have it on display because it was something that we used to connect over quite a lot. So, okay, I'm gonna have to kneel, and I've got very bruised knees, so this hurts. Anyway, so then we move on to the next one. So all that top shelf is fantasy, and then we come down and it bleeds more fantasy into this shelf, and then we have like paranormal romance or paranormal fantasy, as well as dystopian and sci-fi, because I have a sci-fi book back here. And then moving on to this side of the shelf, this is like my favorites fantasy on this shelf, and that's why I put it here, because this shelf and this shelf are the ones that I've seen in videos the most. So to me, it made more sense to have my favorites and books that I recommend the most here. I do apologize if in a lot of these shots it's not like 100% in focus. It's really hard to try and focus me or where I'm going to be sitting. So the books should definitely be in focus, but I might not be. Anyway, so we finished off fantasy on the shelf above. Again, like I said, this angle that you guys are on now is the angle that I film on. So this is definitely the angle and the shelf that you guys will see the most, which is why I have a lot more of my favorites down here. Dark romance is my tried and true. I love dark romance. As much as I do love fantasy, dark romance, every time I pick up a good dark romance book, I'm just obsessed every time. So not a lot of this shelf has changed. Been a couple of little changes just because I put some of my favorite dark romances on my favorite shelf over there. And to be honest, I could put more up there, but I don't want to. Not until like I don't have enough space, then I'll change some to over there on the favorites. And then moving over here, we have sports romance, small town romance into like criminal fiction, / thriller, suspense, those types of things. And then just 2 self-help books on the side because I needed to fill the space. And again, just like a little, I think this is like Ocean Jasper or something they call it. Okay, so you're just not going to be able to see me properly. I'm currently laying down on the floor. So like I said, this was dark romance into like sports romance and small town romance and then like crime and stuff. And then down here is more fantasy because I just didn't have the room up top, and I haven't read this series here. These ones have been read, but this series here hasn't. So I didn't want them in like real obvious shots. So starting over here, we have the Philosopher's Stone, so like the first Harry Potter book, the 4th one and the last one. So Philosopher's Stone, Goblet of Fire, and then the Deathly Hallows. We have The Host by Stephanie Meyer, which is my favorite book by her. I love this concept way more than Twilight, and I'm so sad that this book was supposed to be a trilogy and we never got anything more, and I'm so sad about it. Then we have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Not a fan of this series. This is a really interesting take on Disney stories. So this is like a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and it literally says like, what if Belle's mother cursed the beast? So it's a reimagining and retelling of like our favorite childhood stories in like actually taking the stories and making it different. And then we have Night of the Wolf and the Dragon book. And then moving over, this is the Morganville Vampires. I have some general fiction up the back. I think there's Anne of Green Gables and The Secret Gardens. The Secret Gardens is one of my favourite classic texts. I'm not a fan of classical books, but The Secret Garden and The Anne of Green Gables is probably my favourite out of the classics. And then I also have A Dog's Way Home back here. And then finally on the very corner over here, which I'm not sure you can see, I don't know what this is called, but Blood of Eldon series, I think. Okay, let's move you guys up to look at my special edition and favourites shelf. Okay, so like I said, this is sort of my favourites as well as special editions. So this shelf here is just favourites. So I have Haunting and Hunting Adeline, so the Cat and Mouse duet. I have the Fair Folk Trilogy Book 1 because I'm currently reading the second one. This is A Feather So Black. I have the Dark Olympus series here because both of these books have gotten 5 stars from me. And then we have ACOTAR, which, look, ACOTAR, the first book, did not get 5 stars, but it's part of the series. I won't break up the series. So all of the rest of them have gotten the highest rating they can possibly get from me. Don't know why I had that way. ACOMAF and ACOWAR both got 5 stars, and ACOFAST got a 4-star because it is a novella, and I just couldn't get fully behind it the same way that I could the other two. So I couldn't like break my rule of rating a novella more than 4-star. That's that. And then I have my Sprayed Edge special edition of Collide down here as well. For now, that's just sitting there like that and to hold that up because I'm probably gonna have to move this around once my special edition of Fearless comes, but we're getting to that shelf. So let's move up to the next shelf. Now I think I did somewhat go through this when I was doing it. I don't know if I'm in shot here, but anywho, if I'm not, I'm not. If I am, hello. This is my limited special edition of Iron Flame and my limited special edition of Onyx Storm, the Australian New Zealand versions. And then this is my limited edition or special edition of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame that came to Kmart in these smaller size paperbacks. I'm waiting for Onyx Storm to come out and that because I'm definitely going to be adding to it. I would love to get the special edition of Fourth Wing as well, but it's so expensive to buy it second hand. Like some people are charging like $400 for it and I just can't justify that. I need to get the standard hardback of it because I have the standard paperback. I'm currently rereading that with Book Bestie. But yeah, anyway, digressing. We have a little candle here and then we have these special editions, these beautiful special editions that came to Australia, which have the beautiful artwork of it, of the Powerless trilogy. So my plan is to go and buy some other hardback covers of these so I can display both the hardbacks because the hardback as well is stunning. I'll show you with Reckless because it's easier to get. I won't show you the back because there is a quote on the back and I don't want to spoil it, but like it's just stunning. And like even the original like cover is stunning in this hardback, but I would love to be able to display the like colourful hardback as well as the beautiful art. So we've got Powerless, Powerful and Reckless, and then also this special edition of Powerful as well. That is that shelf there. I mean, I have to put myself all the way in the corner to actually be in shot here because this is the most awkward shelf to try and film because my tripod won't go up high enough. And then the top shelf here is my special limited editions of the Crowns of Nyaxia series, so they all have sprayed edges on them as well as these beautiful covers. So beautiful sprayed edge, this beautiful cover, the back there, and then there's a quote on the back which I don't want to read because I haven't read this book yet. So we have The Serpent and the Wings of Night, Ashes and the Starcoast King, and The Songbird and the Heart of Stone. Again, I haven't read this book yet. It's on my TBR cart to be read. Yeah, and then we just have this like pretty little fake flower arrangement thing there. Again, I apologize if I'm not fully in focus. It's really hard to try and focus the camera at the moment with the way everything is, but as you guys can see, like this is what you guys will see the most of, which is why I wanted to make sure that I had my favorites around me so that you guys could kind of see that. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I really hope you guys did enjoy it. I feel so much better now that that's done. I know I've definitely got room I can create in here, and I also have room down the bottom here as well, which is an absolute plus. I definitely do need some other bookshelves though. I don't have the money to do that right now, so we will just have to wait, but that's fine. Yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, make sure you comment down below and subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bells. Also, don't forget to follow me on TikTok and Instagram. They will be linked on the screen as well as down in the description box. Also, I don't know if the beautiful people that have ordered from my Etsy shop have come from here or not, but I've had some orders on my Etsy shop and I'm so grateful for you guys for ordering, and I hope you guys do enjoy them when they get there. And if you want to see what it is that I offer annotated books. So if you want to see what books I do offer, I need to go and actually update my site at the moment. But if you want to go and see what books I'm offering in terms of what's annotated and what's not, that's also linked down below, as well as like my Goodreads, Fable. Not that I ever put my reviews up there, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Mwah.